How's it going, all of you beautiful people around the world? My name is Ryan, aka Blackbeard TCG, and you guys see the title already. We're going to be talking about Kaido in OP02. Ladies and gentlemen, Kaido is a deck that is going to be absolutely amazing for you to play if you are unable to get your hands on any OP02 product. Maybe it's all sold out wherever you are, or maybe the prices are being marked up to absurd amounts. I know where I am in Canada, the boxes are going for about $200 to $250 each. 200 to 250. I stuttered there for a second because I couldn't believe it. I just had to say that number again. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it's that expensive. And, you know, if you're like me and you're quite cheap, but you still want to play a good deck, the two decks that I highly recommend are Kaido and Trafalgar Law. I think Trafalgar Law is firmly in S tier in terms of the top decks, alongside Zoro as well in OP02. And I think Kaido would be in A tier, the tier right below it. I think Kaido is very strong. I think it does have a little bit of troublesome matchups against Zoro, but with that being said, this new Kaido build plays tech cards in order to try to mitigate that and really try to have a, not an advantageous matchup, but more of an even matchup when you're going up against Zoro. So ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into it and let's talk about why Kaido in OP02 is one of the best budget decks for you to run if you can't get your hands on any OP02 product. Now, of course, if you're unable to get your hand on any of the product, I highly recommend you buy singles. It is going to save you a ton of money. You could use websites like TCG Player, or depending on where you are in the world, there might be other local shops that you can shop online. Maybe walk into your local game store and they might be able to sell singles as well. But I guarantee you that you would save a lot more money buying singles than buying a box, because you're probably, sure you can pull Manga Ace, but if you don't, I'm gonna be honest, you are probably wasting your money unless you want to do it for collector's purposes. If you just want the cards so you can play the game and have fun and maybe compete in some locals or compete in box tournaments or case tournaments or things like that, I highly recommend you get singles. If you know people that have already bought a bunch of boxes, reach out to them and see if you can buy the singles off them. There's many different ways that you can go about it, and I guarantee you will save money. So when it comes to Kaido, what cards are we going to be putting into this deck? Well, as you can see on the screen right now, this is a rough skeleton of what Kaido looks like in OP01. And now, take a look at what a rough skeleton looks like for OP02. As you can see, in this version of the build, there's not that many changes. In fact, these cards are extremely cheap. If you can go ahead and pick up copies of Judgment of Hell, or Hell's Judgment as it was originally translated, as well as Shiryu the Rain, then these are going to help your matchup against Zoro as well as Trafalgar Law. Shiryu the Rain being able to pop any one cost is going to be great. You'll be able to get rid of any annoying chump blockers that you're going up against with Law, be it Capone Gang Beige or Chopper or anything like that. You don't have to worry about that with Zoro. You have things like Sunny-kun, like Nami, like Makino, all these annoying cards that this card would be able to pop. On top of that, it's 5,000 power, so you can go ahead and swing into your opponent with it. And then also, in addition to that, with Hell's Judgment, this is going to be the card that you need to see in order to stand a chance against Zoro. Being able to minus 3,000 for 2 attacks, for 2 characters or leader, it could be a character or leader, it is absolutely insane on the defensive end and will allow you to continue to play the game against that extremely aggressive deck. If there's anything that you guys need to buy, I highly recommend you pick up 4 copies of this first and foremost. Now, Kaido has a little bit more versatility. Kaido can also be playing the Impel Down engine. If you take a look at this list here, this Impel Down engine is running things like Hannibal. You run Sadie as a 2K counter instead, so you can sub out some of the old 2K counters to run Sadie, because Sadie will be searchable off Hannibal, and Hannibal will also allow you to search for your Hell's Judgment, so it adds a little bit more consistency when you are playing the matchups against Zoro. Now, of course, you can opt to not play the 10 cost Kaido and instead play more of a mid-rangey style with your Magellan, the SR Magellan. Now, to be fair, this build will be a little bit more expensive because you will have to get some more rares, you will have to get some more SRs in the sense of Magellan, although I don't think that they'll be that expensive, but if you want to go this route, you definitely can. Both of these versions have been able to perform and get top 4 at big events, so whichever one you go for, you should be fine. I highly recommend that you guys try this out. Go ahead, test it out on the sim. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, that's fine. Play some of the new OP02 leaders. But again, I highly recommend, if you don't have the money, if you don't have the means, or maybe everything's sold out and you can only get access to singles, or maybe some of your friends are buying a bunch of boxes and you could pick up some of their scrap purple cards because they're trying to play all the new hot spice, well, definitely give Kaido a try. I have one quick gameplay here that I want to show you against Kinemon so you can see it in action. Somebody reached out to me and said, hey Ryan, you should probably blur people's names, especially if you don't let them know that you're recording for the YouTube video. So going forward, I'll be blurring people's names just so I don't really put anybody on blast. But with that being said, also, you can change your name on the sim. So even if that was the case, somebody could just change their name and they would never know. Anyways, without further ado, go ahead and check out the gameplay. I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, let's hop into the gameplay. So as you can see here, this hand is not ideal. So I go ahead and mulligan for it. And look what I have in my hand. I have Onigashima. Now, Kinemon's annoying. Kinemon wants to go second. He actually chose to go second, I believe, because that means that you can first turn Okiku. Kinemon can play a card with one less cost, turn one, or if you're going second, rather, you have 2 dons, so you could play Okiku on the first turn. So for me, I just go ahead and pass. I go ahead and get my Onigashima, and now I'm chilling because now I'm able to start ramping. I take the 2 hits from the Kaido, sorry, not from the Kaido, from the Kinemon as well as the Okiku, and I was surprised that he swung with the Okiku early on. Maybe I'm guessing he didn't think I would play any blockers or anything like that. So right off the bat, I'm like, okay, let's swing into Okiku. I get rid of his blocker here, and now I'm able to drop my king. I'm going to use king to pop Okiku because I don't want him to continuously get value off of it if I do decide to play some of my 5 costs like my queen or like my Babanuki. And here comes Yamato. This card is so broken. 4 costs, it becomes 3 costs with Kinemon, can rest anything that's cost 6 or lower, and now he can start attacking into it. So he has 3 Dawn remaining, so I'm thinking, okay, is he going to attach that to Kinemon and attack my king? Because if not, then what was the point of playing the Yamato? So he's thinking here, he's not going to be able to get any value off of the Raizo this turn, and so instead he just goes for face. I just discard my Babanuki here because I'm like, okay, that's fine, I still have my queen, and a second Raizo comes out. So he's fully tapped out now. Obviously tapping my Onigashima, and you can see I have another king in my hand. I'm going to go ahead and play that. I'm going to ditch 1 Dawn, and here I will be able to pop the Yamato because it is cost 4. So right now I'm sitting really pretty. Kaido's going to attack. I'm leaving 2 Dawn open here because I do have a Thunder Bagua in which I can decide to play, and then I'll go ahead and pass a turn over. So he actually has the Momo, which sucks because Momo's going to allow him to add 1 card to hand. Raizo's going to be able to attack and draw, and then Raizo's going to be able to attack and draw. So this is literally a +3. I guess you could call it a -1 because he had to play the, sorry, not a -1. You could call it a +2 because he had to play the Momonosuke. But this is an extremely valuable turn for him. So I have to go ahead and discard the queen because I can't just keep taking free hits here. The good thing is he's not going for my board, and at this point, he doesn't have a blocker. And as soon as I say that, guess who comes on the board? We got Killer. So now there is a blocker on the board. So here I decide to take the hit and take a look at what we get, everybody. We get a Shiryu the Raid. So we're at 10 Dawn right now. Shiryu the Rain is going to be really good. And now I'm just thinking like, okay, how can I get board control? We are at 10 Dawn. So I tried to go ahead and hit the Momonosuke. Again, he's going to be able to draw another card. He's just getting so many cards to his hand. And this is the thing with Kinemon. They'll be able to get a ton of cards to hand. But look, we have Shiryu the Rain. We'll be able to pop that. I still have a bunch of Dawn left. I go ahead and tap the Onigashima. And now I'm able to start trying to KO the Raizo here. So I attack with the king against the Raizo. 3,000 power difference, which means he's going to have to get it to 8,000 to keep the Raizo. Paradise Waterfall into 2k counter. Are you serious? Saves that Raizo, and here I have a bunch of Dawn. I'm just trying to think. I'm like, okay, I don't want to play the other king here. I'm going to attach 2 Dawn. I want to guarantee to kill that, which is fine. I can go ahead and play my Higurashi, which is a blocker, and I still have 2 Dawn open to Thunder Bagua, and on top of that, now I'm sitting at 2 life, which means I can add an additional Dawn if needed when using Thunder Bagua. I believe that is the effect, unless I am mistaken. So out comes Okiku, out comes Odin. So things are really scary here. I'm able to just go ahead and pitch off because I'm like, okay, he's going to look to double swing. But if you look at the game state right now, I feel like I'm sitting really pretty. So I'm going to try to bait out counters out of his hand. I go 7,000 to face. He takes it. So remember, once your opponent gets to 2 life, you can just threaten lethal. Like, it's insane. So I'm going to go ahead and I believe I attached this to my Kaido. I was trying to decide if I wanted to attack with King or Kaido first. I know it's a little bit risky. I know typically you want to not have to attack with your leader first in the case of something gets hit in trigger or anything like that. But I was like, you know what, I'll take the risk. I go ahead and attach 5 for 10k. I know he's not going to counter out of that. Now I can go ahead and use my leader ability to trash 7. Oh, sorry, send back 7 Dawn to trash 1 life. And now I just play the numbers game and try to go for lethal. So here I get 2k counters, and here or 2k counter, 1k counter, and then here he has nothing else left in his hand, and that is the game. I felt pretty comfortable doing that just because obviously I still had some defensive abilities in terms of staying alive, in terms of blockers, in terms of counters. So I felt like if anything, I might be able to survive one more turn, even if he does double attack, he has Kinemon and things like that. So I felt pretty comfortable making that play, and it ended up being the right one. So that was a matchup against Kinemon, one of the best decks in the format, probably a deck that's going to be tier 1, and it was able to take it down. Of course, I've seen some favorable cards, but it just goes to show that this deck can compete. And if you don't take my word for it, look at the people over in Asia that performed with Kaido. So I don't know. If this doesn't sell it for you guys, I don't know what will. For me, obviously, I'm going to try to get my 1 box. If I'm not able to build the decks that I want, obviously, I would like to play Zephyr. I would like to play Smoker. But if it's too expensive, I'm picking up Law, I'm picking up Kaido, I'm going to go to events, and I'm going to try my best to perform. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'm out. Peace.